Well, it's certainly not the easiest time for globalization, I would say. It's, one could call it a globalization crisis. And I think, part of the reason why we are in this crisis is because people view that trade is really part of the problem when it comes to addressing some of the key challenges we are facing instead of the solution, which I actually think it is. Take sustainability, for example. When people think about trade, they think about transport. When they think about transport, they think about transport emissions. Exactly the same associations, I think, people have when they think about airlines. If you look at the big picture, you have to realize that transport emissions are only a very small part of overall emissions, and there's a lot of variation in production emissions across countries. So to the extent that you import something from a greener origin, I call this green sourcing, trade can actually be part of the solution. We need to have a conversation. We certainly need to, just assume that embracing trade is the wrong path, because when it comes to climate change, for example, I think it would be a great mistake, because at the end of the day, if we don't tackle this problem in the most economical way possible, it's just not going to happen, because people are not going to be willing to pay excessively high prices, for example. It's a little bit difficult to predict because, of course, these supply chain disruptions, at least the ones that we are seeing now, or at least the ones that we kind of see coming, are mostly politically driven, policy driven. So it depends really how this kind of political game is going to play out. I'm quite concerned about, the prospect of global fragmentation. We are trying to do our best to convince people that this is not the way forward, because even if you think about other issues like economic security, resilience, and so on, again, I think the solution is not fragmentation. The solution is really to embrace trade and also supply chains.